Hi, Guido Fox here. Welkom bij een nieuwe book report. Today I want to talk with you about this wonderful book, Mindfulness for the Personal Disorder Borderliner. How to resolve your own borderliner with mindfulness. So I'm gonna be a coach more on the spiritual path. And we can solve, I think, borderliner with more spiritual views, spiritual development, spiritual awakening. I think that's the path we have to follow. Everyone has to follow that path, but especially people with personal disorders, I think spirituality and meditation and mindfulness can be very helpful here. So mindfulness and personal disorder is a wonderful combination. As me as a coach for helping and supporting people who are suffering for the disorder, as also the environment, the social environment who is suffering also from the person with this disorder. So it is not only the person themselves, but also the people in their surroundings, and both have a loose game here. It is lose-lose. It is no win-win, and maybe we can go here for more win-win if we can solve this kind of types of disorders. So introduction, I will start with that the person with borderliner, and it's good for the person themselves, right, this video, but also the person who are close to the person with borderliner, to recognize the symptoms and maybe send her to me to solve it, or you can come to me for more information how to deal with the borderliner, how to how to communicate with this kind of persons with the disorder. Emptiness, they're very empty in themselves, and they have a lot of self-hatred. And that's what you see also. They hate themselves and they transfer that hate to the outside world. And that's something what is going on with people with BPS, is deeply they're hating themselves. You don't see it from the outside world, outside from her or from him, but inside they hate themselves. They're not happy with themselves. They're empty and they transfer all their hatred to the outside world. So that's, I think, interesting to know that there's a lot of self-hate, and therefore they're struggling in love relationships, in the rubber band relationships, and also struggle with themselves. Also, they're the transferring, you see, right? They don't like themselves, probably they don't like their partner, and you're sitting in a very toxic love dynamic. So that's what you see on page 3. They don't like themselves, they find themselves worthless, and therefore they are testing the partner. They're testing because they're afraid that they're leaving them because they don't feel themselves so much worth. So they're pretending that they are very self-confident, very high value. They pretend that they're very strong. But deep in themselves, they're very, very empty, insecure, and they will test you in the toxic relationships, afraid to leave me. And if you hate yourself, you hate also probably the other partner. So there's also swinging around, right? Testing the other, but also hate the other for their actions he's doing or she's doing. So that's also in the relationships, full of self-hate, full of external hate, and also afraid that they're leaving you. And there we see the self-fulfilling prophecy. If you test the partner constantly because you think, oh, why he love me, why he's loving me. Sorry, I do he, me, and she is the girl, right? It's better for talking. So why he's loving me. Why it's possible? I'm so ugly, nasty. I'm not a nice woman. How is possible? I should test him more, right? So there you see the self-fulfilling prophecy of testing the other person. And then the relationship will be down, 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 down. And then the relationship will end. And then she created another fear of rejection. And you see the fear of rejection by her will be bigger and bigger and bigger, and therefore the testing mechanisms will also be bigger and bigger. So Then she's afraid to be alone. So she is afraid to be with somebody, and she's also afraid to be alone. So there's also that splitting, that black white is also here. Afraid to be with someone, afraid to be alone. It's all afraidness here. It's all deeply afraidness in the borderliner disease. So she's also afraid to be alone, and then she's searching rapidly for new guys there. Page 9, 6 to 12 million people have BPD symptoms, and there are 265 combination of symptoms. So the one borderliner is not the other borderliner. So there are a lot of different symptoms there. It's not easy to recognize. But what you see is 6 to 15 million people have this disease. So it's unbelievable. In the Netherlands is 500,000. I searched one time for it. 500,000 people are suffering from the borderline disorder, and it creates such a destruction in society, and also the social circle around, right? It was dragging in that dragging in that mood. So the social circle will be also destructive. Big destructive forces there, right? 6 to 50 million people are into the borderliner disorder. Page 13 is the behavioral patterns of the borderliner is unexpected changes. The shifting of life goals. So first they want to work by a bank, and then they want to become in the army or something. So very black white there. The values are changing. The romantic stages in the relationships. Oh, it was so romantic. You're my life partner. We're going to marry. And the other day you're a dork, and you're a shitty person, and you're just someone for temporary being there. So also the view about you will change constantly as a person, and that is of course related to the afraidness of the borderliner. I told you already earlier, afraidness of rejection, afraidness of bonding, but also about impulsivity and emotional instability. So they're very impulsive, they're emotionally unstable. That's what you see in the behavioral patterns of the borderliner disease. Emotional unstable impulsiveness. What I like about this book is that they mention a lot of scientific approach. So you see a lot of underlying PhD theses where they put out the information. Excuses for my bad English here. So they use really information what is based on real knowledge here. So that's what I like about this book. Poor social functioning and aloneness. I talked already earlier about a previous book report about Buddha and the borderliner, but here so you see poor social functioning, and that's because of the missing filter. So they put everything out. So if they see a colleague with a bad dress or not so nice dress, they say it immediately. I don't like your dress. I don't like this room. I don't like your couch. So they come inside somewhere and they put everything out. So there's no filter there. Very black-white too. And they are poor in social functioning. So that's what you see by the borderliner disorder, is that they probably have also not a lot of friends. So the social circle is missing there. And what I heard also from a lot of clients, that they have a very lonely life, or they pretend that they're very social active. So they put on Instagram or photos with friends, but that is not true. They can be have a whole blowout story about their social life, but that can be not true, because also the people with a personal disorder, borderliner, they're very manipulative, very manipulative. Being right over being effective. Yeah, they think they're right, so they say to the colleague, "Oh, yeah, I don't like your dress." They are very open. and they're probably right. Probably the dress is not so nice, but it's not effective. So that's what you see in relationship. The testing behavior, the comments, maybe they're right. Maybe I have not a good choice of clothing now. Well, that's not effective, right? They're not effective in their social functioning. They're not effective in their relationship. So that's what you see in the combination with perfectionism. They're very perfectionistic. Everything in control, everything perfect, right? That's also a symptom of the borderline disorder. I talked with you already earlier about filtering. They have no filters, right? They put everything out and they're so poor social functioning, but also filtering in negative aspects. And that's a very interesting one. They see only the negative aspects in a lot of situations. So they walk on the street and they see the imperfections of people. They are fat, ugly clothes, they're smoking, whatever. They're seeing the negative aspects and not the positive ones. So they're very judgmental and condemning the environment. That's what I want to say. Condemning the environment on their negative points. They put also the negative points in you and push you down in your insecurities. That's also a mechanism what you see by borderliners. They find your weak spot and pushing on that, and you will be more and more insecure to her level. So black-white thinking, judgmentalism, catastrophical. They're very paranoia sometimes and think that the world is going under tomorrow. So they can think in catastrophical patterns. Belief in shoots. Shoots. Excuse, I cannot read my own writing skills here. Shoots. You have to. You must. All those kind of terms you see in the borderline disorder. You have to. You must. You should. You have to be like this. So all those kind of word terms you see in the personal disorder. They're reckless, very reckless behavioral patterns, very shifting in their values, shifting in their life goals easily, and make reckless decisions. They're chronical, unpredictable. That's a very interesting term. Chronical, unpredictable. You don't know what is your position today, what is your position tomorrow, what is your position in the future as partner of someone with the borderline disease. So you don't know what's going on. They're chronicle and predictable. They can shift each moment to another side of another personality. They're multiple personalities in one there, so they change a lot in their moods, they change a lot of personality. You don't know what your status is. What we can do: more meditation, more relaxation to impulse the control of the impulsive. And you cannot change the genes nowadays. That's the main topic in psychology. You cannot change your genes, but you can change how your genes are working together. So you can change the working togetherness of your genes because through meditation. Then your emotions will be more in control, your impulsiveness will be more in control, and you go deeply from the fight and flight modus where you're in anger, fear, in the lower levels of consciousness. You're in an animalistic stage. A borderliner is in an animalistic stage, and they're fight and flight modus. They're constantly reckless. They're constantly, if they're on the fight and the flight, right? So with meditation, slowly, we're going more develop the prefrontal cortex, the activation of the prefrontal cortex. They become more at ease. So your conflicting thoughts will be less. You have more governing of social control, so you put not everything out there by your colleague, and you learn to be more controlling your impulsiveness. So all your system, your energetic system become more at ease if you can impose that control. And with meditation, your eyes are going to shine more. You get more glistering eyes. You can create more happiness in your eyes, and your emptiness in your eyes are gone. Your emptiness eyes are gone. And search for a good coach for your meaning of life, your life goals, and your motivation in life, your purpose. But you see, a lot of borderliners are struggling with their career because of social functioning, but also they don't know what to do in life. They miss a career motive and purpose. And you fill it up probably with sex. Sexual is a short-term solution for borderliners, a short-term intimacy, but it's not fulfilling for the long term. So what I recommend here is solving your career, your long-term happiness, your motivation, in combination with a lot of bands of meditation, of become with someone with a high spiritual field to heal yourself, come on a higher level of spirituality, and you will heal your past, and you can create more impulsiveness, controlness, and you're not putting out everything more what's inside, and you have no filtering here, more filtering in your system. That's what I want to say, more filtering in your system to grow in your personality, as also grow in your social circle, in your social functioning. So less impulsiveness, less conflicting thoughts about yourself and an environment, less self-hatred with meditation. You're going more self-love, and then it's all become fine there. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Mindfulness, solution for the borderline and personal disorder. Thank you for watching. I see you by the next video. Bye bye.